6:41. Welcome back to the show. Time for your health headlines. And we've spoken about soda tax before, and now there's research behind it.
Yeah, so Canadian government, of course, is looking into the soda tax. Should we or should we not do this? Well, this study suggests that we should. Here's why. So this is research done out of the University of Waterloo, and it has found that a 20% tax on sugary drinks would save more than, get this, Jill, 13,000 lives and prevent hundreds of thousands of cases of obesity and serious illness in Canada over the next 25 years. So, of course, breaking this down over the next 25 years, but they're saying it would have a huge benefit. The study says also that over the next 25 years, a 20% tax would save more than 13,000 lives and prevent more than 600,000 cases of obesity among Canadians. According to the study, the tax would also prevent 200 cases of type 2 diabetes, more than 60,000 cases of ischemic heart disease, more than 20,000 cases of cancer, and more than 8,000 strokes. So basically, the researchers broke it all down and showed you, okay, so if we reduce the amount of obesity by this much, this is going to be the health impact. What it also suggests is that it would put a whole bunch of dollars into the Canadian bank's coffers, which would allow it to be spent on other things, other healthy initiatives, you know, like getting school lunches into things and programs like that. So a lot of reasons why you might want to consider that as an option.
Okay, and a word of warning on some common pain medications.
Yeah, so this is a study out of Denmark, and they looked at ibuprofen and other common painkillers known as NSAIDs, or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So we would know these like ibuprofen, so Advil, or naproxen, or Aleve. That's how we would know these drugs. Now, in Denmark, it's a little bit of a different story than it is here in Canada and the U.S., because in Denmark, the only NSAID sold without a prescription is ibuprofen in a 200 milligram tablet. That would be the equivalent to a regular strength Advil here in Canada. So that's the only one that's sold without a prescription. But what they're suggesting is that all of them, all NSAID prescriptions filled at Danish pharmacies since 1995 is what they looked at, as well as the medical records of nearly 30,000 people who had cardiac arrests that occurred between 2001 and 2010. And what they found is that over 3,000 people with cardiac arrest had actually taken an NSAID in the 30 days before their cardiovascular event. Interesting. They also found that filling a prescription for an NSAID raised the risk of cardiac arrest by 31%. So they're saying that's a pretty strong link there. Other people are weighing in on the study saying, well, you know, if you just be aware that these may be having some effect, specifically if you have risks for cardiovascular disease and more than one, then that's something to pay attention to. So the idea being, you know, if you have cardiovascular disease or you have a lot of risk factors for cardiovascular disease, make sure you talk to your doctor before you take some of those NSAIDs.
Got it. Okay, well, you've set the bar for this story.
I have, right? Geez, it's okay. Well, at least according to this study. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. But this study, published in the journal Nutrition and Diabetes, concludes that people who eat a lot of cheese do not necessarily have higher cholesterol levels than those who don't eat cheese. So this is out of the University College Dublin in Ireland, and they found no link between eating cheese and an increased body fat or even the higher LDL levels, which is the bad cholesterol. So excess LDL cholesterol, of course, is one of the main risk factors for strokes and heart attacks, and they found that cheese does not increase that, so that's okay. In fact, they found higher dairy intake was associated with a lower body mass index, a lower percentage of body fat, and even a lower waist size and lower blood pressure.
Pardonnez-moi.
Exactly. In fact, we've seen this before in other studies that found that low-fat milk and yogurt tended to have cause people to eat other things instead. So a higher increase in, say, carbohydrates, for example, which was much more bad for your health. So, you know, keep it in mind, put it in the whole picture of what you're eating, but according to this study, cheese is okay.
Good news.
Good news.
Thank you, Leah.